Facebook user. Is it possible to extend a 3-month stay on a visitor visa on a 12-month visa validity with 3 months maximum stay, or just a good idea to... Oh, I'll just shrink this question a little bit. Or is it just a good idea to leave the country for some time and come back again? So I think what you're asking me is, you're here, or your partner's here on a visitor visa that has a 3-month period of stay that's been granted. So that's typically going to be an ETA, an e-visitor, or if you've applied for the subclass 600, maybe that's how it was granted, with a 3-month period of stay. And you're asking, can you apply for another visitor visa here to extend the period of stay, or should you depart and then come back in and get another 3-month period of stay on that visa that's already granted to you? Now, there's pros and cons and risks associated to either. Okay, ultimately, when we're preparing partner visa applications, or we're managing the process for clients, and the partners overseas, maybe with the Australian or not, but they come in on a visitor visa of some type, whether it's the 600, the ETA, or the e-visitor, and let's say they have those types of conditions where they can only stay for 3 months, we will always plan to strengthen the application and have it ready, the onshore partner visa application, ready to be submitted within that 3-month period of stay. We want to avoid, if possible, the need for the visitor visa holder to extend the visitor visa or depart the country and come back to secure another 3-month period of stay. The reason is that if we're looking at, let's say, the extension option, which isn't an extension, just to clarify, that's just street lingo, but you're actually applying for another visitor visa. It's a whole new application. Firstly, yes, you can apply for more visas when you're onshore, as long as you don't have a condition on the visa that stops you. So I'm assuming there isn't a no further stay condition on the visa the person has, and you're just looking to extend that person's stay. You can, but there are risks. Firstly, there's risks whether or not they'll grant it. Very possible they'll refuse an extension to a visitor visa if someone's already been here for a certain period of time. Secondly, they may grant it with a condition that prevents another application, such as a no further stay condition, which is a big problem if you're trying to apply for an onshore partner visa, if that's really what the overall objective is, which I assume would be the case, given you're in this group. But that's the other problem, is that even if it's granted, will it have a no further stay condition imposed or something else that would prevent an application onshore? And unfortunately, both of those decisions, whether or not it's granted or not, and whether or not some type of condition is imposed, or the conditions they impose, they're discretionary. And you want to avoid being in the position where you're giving the department the power again to make these subjective decisions. Because you're trying to protect the partner visa, you're trying to protect your ability to apply for an onshore partner visa. So for that reason, unless there's very good reasons to, we will not try to apply for another visitor visa for a client that's onshore already on a temporary visa of some kind. We will always have, prior to starting the process, mapped out a plan to have submitted the onshore partner visa within that 3-month period of stay. The alternative is, as you mentioned, is to depart the country and come back and extend your 3-month stay period. Now, that's possibly the less riskier option, because it's not a new visa application that's being decided. So it's not as if they need to decide whether or not to grant you the visa again or grant you the visa with the condition again. It's already been decided. It's multiple entry, and they allow you to go and come back. Every time you come back, you get another 3 months. So yes, legally speaking, technically, you have the right visa to return to Australia. However, you just never know what's going to happen at the airport, at the border officials at the airport. It's completely within their discretion to refuse someone's entry and cancel the visitor visa if they feel that there's a potential for that person to come in and breach visa conditions, work illegally, let's say on a visitor visa. I have heard of people coming in on visitor visas and they check people's Facebook, check their phones to look for messages from employers to see if they had been working in Australia in their last 3-month stint. So you really need to be careful. And again, you're just increasing the risk factor. You're inviting the possibility of the department saying, well, we're going to look at this, we're going to look at your case because we have to, and we're going to make a decision whether or not we let you back in or not. So therefore, there's risks with that process as well. So my answer really is, ideally, we wouldn't want you to reapply for another visitor visa or leave. We would ideally be encouraging people to try to apply for their partner visa within that 3-month period of stay. Ultimately, though, I can't say definitively if that's the right thing for you, because I don't know your relationship facts, and it depends on whether or not you would meet partner visa requirements. So when you submit the onshore partner visa, you need to show you're in a married or de facto relationship. If you're not in a civil union, you need to show 12 months prior, meet the 12 months rule. So there's a few things to factor in here, but generally speaking, our plan is always to try to apply within that initial 3-month period of stay.